It was great, man. Really just loved the moment of death, the pure release of nothingness. It was beautiful.
Hey guys, it's Brian. We're here at the red carpet premiere of Tragedy Girls at Screamfest. It's a very Heathers-esque take on slasher horror films, and it's really, really funny and cool. We highly recommend checking it out, but first, check out our interviews from the red carpet premiere. This is Craig Robinson. You guys know him. He's hilarious.
I just thought it was clever, and smart, and then knowing the girls that are involved, it was like, oh, this is a no-brainer. I got a cameo in it pretty much. So the idea for me was to come in and, just keep the story going, and hopefully people remember Big Al. I think that's the hashtag. Remember Big Al, baby.
We're here with Brianna Hildebrand, one of the stars of Tragedy Girls, and also you might know her as
Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
What drew you to Tragedy Girls, and what did you like about your character that like made you want to play that character in the script?
I love scary movies and horror films in general, but when I got this script in, immediately I recognized that the girls, Sadie and Michaela, were the ones taking action, and I thought that was really amazing, and I thought it was new and interesting, because I feel like you don't get to see a lot of women in horror movies being the horror, they're reacting to the horror. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of improv, and I think that stuff just started coming naturally because we could work off each other so often. It was cool that, most of the time we were doing the dirty work, we were together. So, yeah, I think that helped us a lot.
I feel like there's a code word I can say to you and you're going to understand. Skyline Chili.
Oh, understood.
Dude.
Completely.
Same town?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Dude. So I've been trying this new plant-based lifestyle, and I just went home to, my dad just got married, and I went home and I just couldn't resist.
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't had meat or cheese in 4 months, and I just went full on, and my stomach responded well.
You get to play a very not you character in this film. That had to have been nice.
Dude, it was really fun. Yeah, it was when a buddy of mine, Cameron Van Hoy, is one of the producers on the show, and he sent me the script and he was like, hey, it's this cool role, next a few days, we're shooting in Kentucky, and you might want to do it. So I read it, and it was just fun to kind of get to push a character in that direction and be a kind of douchey, self-centered dickhead, and then pay the ultimate price for it.
In the trailer it gives it away, so I'm just going to say,
yeah, man,
you get a death scene.
I get a death scene.
Where a lot of people kind of are transposing some Hunger Games feelings of yeah. What was that like to finally have all that fighting in past films, and this film you finally get to die?
It was great, man. Really just loved the moment of death, the pure release of nothingness. It was beautiful.
I think the reason why we don't see very many slasher movies anymore is because they've kind of been done to death. We know the tropes. There's usually some sort of masked killer going after these teenage girls. There's usually a final girl. So how does Tragedy Girls kind of take those tropes and flip them on their head?
We wanted to try and find something fresh, as you said, it has been, kind of done to death. We were this is all, dated, and so we kind of thought, why are these, characters always, objectified, and why are these characters always sexualized and then murdered? Why can't we make, kind of flip the narrative a little bit and then put them kind of in the driver's seat and really make a movie that's from their perspective?
Yeah, and it was nice to not play into those norms as well, which was really beautiful. It's what attracted me to the movie. But then even just on the day working with Tyler, it's we're not victims. We're not in sports bras and boy shorts, and we're not running from someone. We are the someone.
How is Tragedy Girls kind of a reflection of the Instagram era that we're living in?
I think that definitely we're just kind of catching up to how social media has really affected we live our lives through this filter, and we process so much information, I think, as a way of dissociating us from the real world conflict behind it. And I think we're it happened so fast that we are still coming to grips with it, and I think this movie kind of isn't particularly didactic about that point, but I think it definitely is meant to cause you to kind of think about that in your own life.
Yeah, totally, and also it's such a socially commentative piece because I feel like we're not moving towards people killing for likes and shares and favorites, but I think we're moving towards a place where given the wrong person, it's possible. And I think if one person does it, then it's humans are capable of doing it. And kind of portraying this, I don't want to give anyone the wrong idea, it's still a satirical kind of take on kids killing for likes and favorites. but at the same time, it's not so far-fetched that we couldn't actually see it.
Tragedy Girls does have a very unique tone to it. It really does feel like it's a teen movie where the protagonists just happen to be sociopaths. So how do you go about achieving that tone through like the cinematography and everything? It's like very stylized and fast-paced.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it just came from like the point of view of young girls who are in high school, and I think there's something about being that age where emotionally things seem more substantial and everything's kind of heightened. So we wanted to feel that in the tone, like everyone is acting just a little, above pitch, like and trying to find those opportunities, and and working with you guys to kind of figure out what that tone is, because you really said it with Brianna, like in rehearsal.
Yeah, and we created a language, which is what I think is so beautiful about this movie, and it was written that way. And Brianna and I had sat down before we had even signed on for it and read it out loud, and we knew that it had to have a type of language. It couldn't be Valley Girl, it couldn't be Heathers, and it couldn't be Gilmore Girls. It couldn't. Those are just really distinctive, language, the pace of their language and stuff like that type of shows and movies. But we knew that there had to be a language to this that would pull in that audience that this is aimed.
Like, as much as we have progressed as a society, I think that there still is this idea that men cannot be victims. And one thing I thought was interesting about this movie is how it kind of plays on that and shows that even the strongest men can be victims.
Yeah, of teenage girls, which is even better. You know what I mean?
Totally, and that's the thing is like, I mean, I think there is this since it's very common for our male serial killers are very are more commonplace than the female ones. And it has kind of got wrapped up in kind of the same sort of stuff, because when he's trying to tell those stories, you tend to weave in this DNA of other male-driven stories.
Yeah, keeping it really personal, but also not trying to make it too real. You know what I mean? You wanna portray something, but you don't want to make it too real, because then you lose the funny, and that's kind of the meat and potatoes in this. Is it's funny that they're killing all of these people in these neon masks and prom dresses. That is our ski mask and machete.